What are the craziest ways you've heard of people making money in Air Force squadrons? When I was stationed at Lackland, there was this tech sergeant named Rodriguez who changed everything with a pair of clippers and a dream. The base barbershop had wait times that were absolutely insane, like 2 hours minimum just to get a basic military cut. You'd show up at 0800 and maybe get called by lunch if you were lucky. Rodriguez had been cutting his own hair since he was a teenager, learned from his uncle who owned a shop back in Phoenix. One day he's complaining about the wait times in our equipment shed, and someone jokingly says, "Dude, just cut mine right here." So he does. Takes 20 minutes, charges $10, and suddenly half the squadron is lining up. At first it was just weekend stuff. He'd set up in the back corner of the shed with a folding chair he grabbed from supply and a mirror propped against some toolboxes. Word spread fast because his cuts were actually good, like really good. Better than the civilians downtown charging $30. Then Rodriguez got creative. He started naming his cuts like they were menu items. The combat fade was his most popular. Tight on the sides, little length on top, perfect for PT tests. The Top Gun buzz was basically a crew cut, but he'd add these little details around the ears. He even had something called the Dress Blues Special that made everyone look sharp for formal events. Within a month, guys from other squadrons were showing up. Security forces, maintainers, even some pilots who were tired of driving off base. Rodriguez was booked solid every evening after duty hours and all weekend long. He had a waiting list written on the back of an old work order form. The crazy part was the money. Dude was pulling 15 cuts some days at $10 each. That's more than he made in his regular paycheck some weeks. He bought better clippers, got a real barber chair delivered to his dorm, and started talking about opening his own shop after he got out. Everyone knew what was happening, but nobody snitched because we all needed haircuts. Even our flight chief was getting trimmed up by Rodriguez before commander's calls. It was like an unspoken agreement. We don't see nothing. You keep the prices fair. Then came the inspection. Some colonel from wing headquarters shows up unannounced, doing one of those random facility checks. We're all scrambling to look busy when he walks past the equipment shed and hears the clippers buzzing. Rodriguez is in the middle of giving someone a combat fade when this full-bird colonel opens the door. We thought Rodriguez was done for. Court-martial, Article 15, the whole deal. But the colonel just stands there watching for a minute, then asks, "How much for a trim?" Turns out his regular barber was on leave and he had a meeting with the base commander the next morning. 20 minutes later, the colonel walks out looking like he stepped off a recruiting poster. He hands Rodriguez $20 and tells him to keep the change. Then he asks for a business card, which Rodriguez obviously doesn't have, so he writes his info on a napkin. The colonel ends up telling other officers about Rodriguez's skills. Soon, we got majors and lieutenant colonels booking appointments through the squadron admin. Rodriguez started offering house calls to the officer housing area for $25 plus tip, but success brought problems. The base barbershop complained about lost business when their wait times dropped because everyone was going to Rodriguez instead. Eventually, the wing commander had to shut it down. Not because Rodriguez did anything wrong, but because it was becoming too big and official. They told him no more cutting hair on base property during duty hours. Weekend cuts in the dorms were still okay, but the equipment shed operation had to end. Rodriguez was bummed until something unexpected happened. A local barbershop owner heard about his reputation and offered him a partnership deal. They wanted to use his military-style cuts to attract younger customers and veterans. They even wanted to brand it as Sergeant's Cuts or something like that.